Hey there, everybody. It's Trust. I'm here with the final episode of TLT Recap and Analysis. This time, I'm going to be covering the semifinals recap and the predictions for the finals. So, before I begin, since this is going to be the last episode of TLT, let me know what you guys think about what type of other content I could be doing in the comment section down below if you would be interested in seeing anything specific. I will also start streaming on Twitch starting next week or later this week, rather. And I'll be doing a variety of different content from art and to Pokemon gaming stuff. So go ahead and check that out and follow me on Twitch if you are interested in seeing some of that stuff. With that said, let's go ahead and start with the TLT recap analysis, this time with the semifinals. So I'll start with the Team Charm versus Stareal matchup since that happened chronologically first. Stareal ended up taking it in 4, dropping only NU, where he lost to some like CM Cresselia stuff, which was pretty funny. That game where Sensei Axu actually had thought that Team Charm was CM Cresselia and ended up making a play that he would end up regretting heavily. But yeah, so that was taken by Stareal in 4 games, losing that NU game. But he did end up taking RU, Ubers, and LC. So that was very clean by him. Not even playing his best tier in OU. And it was a pretty clean matchup. Like none of the games came down to significant luck either. So Stareal definitely looking in top shape. The other game, Kather versus Luthier, was much more interesting. It came down to 5 games, and the 5th game I wasn't able to catch live, and it ended up that they didn't save the replay, which is a little bit unfortunate. But the tiers that were played were RU, NU, PU, OU, and LC. And as I did say before, LC was going to be the crucial game. So from what I've heard, though, the LC game did end up coming down to a little bit of luck, and Luthier managed to win with basically some like a relatively lucky sequence at the end. But yeah, so he was probably like in terms of luck slightly favored because uh, from what I've heard, the ending sequence was basically like he had the chance to get 2 different paras plus or like he had 2 different chances to get a para, and he managed to get the para um, on the second try. So he either needed to get one of those two as a para, or he would need to get a crit at some point. With his at some point with his Abra. So that like last 4 turns, that's what I've heard, but I don't really know what the entire game was. So because of that, it's hard for me to really say. The other games were relatively clean though, and Luthier ended up taking RU and OU, with Kather taking NU and PU. So going forward, okay, Kather had a really good series. If he managed to take Luthier basically down to the wire in LC, that's pretty impressive. It is a little bit unfortunate for him, but stuff happens. It is Pokemon, whatever. And I'm sure that if you had asked Kather directly, he would also say that if he were to regret anything, it would probably not be from anything related to luck, but that he knows that he could have improved in some of those other games. So it does happen, but Luthier does move on to the finals. So we do get what the predicted matchup that I had before, which was Luthier versus Stareal in the finals. And that's not too surprising, even coming from like the top 32 bracket, because kind of coming into the top 32, we knew that one side of the bracket, like Stareal and Sensei Axu, were going to be pretty heavily favored to get out of that bracket, with Luthier really showing the dominance that he had, beating all of the other, in my opinion, top players on his way here, having beaten GXE and Decim and Kather in the past 3 rounds. I do think that in terms of strength of schedule, if you will, or strength of opponents, Luthier has Stareal beat by a pretty significant margin, because Stareal's last few rounds have been, myself and Team Charm, who just, I mean, I could say firsthand in this type of format that we are not at the same level that someone like GXE, Decim, or Kather are at. So Luthier, in terms of that aspect, is in a much better position in terms of who he's beaten to this point. But Stario has looked much cleaner, having really convincing wins over all of his opponents, and not even having to play in his strongest tier, which is OU. Luthier has been pretty good at OU as well, but I think that Stario has a decided advantage in that tier. I do think Luthier's main advantage will come in LC. So if they do decide to split those two tiers where they each lock those, it'll come down to those three other tiers. I do think that both players have shown, uh, you know, good and bad performances in some of those tiers. So it'll really come down to team prep, um, and like that on the day performance, which that's just how it is. I think this matchup is pretty close. With that said, though, I do think Luthier is going to be favored here. I'll put this finals at 55-45 in Luthier's favor. I do think it's pretty close, with Luthier having a relatively decided advantage. So I do think that it will be pretty interesting, though. 55-45, in my opinion, basically means Luthier is should be the one who is favored to coming into here, but Stareal should, if he plays really well, he definitely has chances to come into this game. So with that said, I do think Luthier should be able to win um, as long as he preps well, plays well, and all of that stuff. I think that the tiers have basically solidified, with there only being a few changes between last round and this round, most notably like Sigalef leaving NU, for example. But like for the most part, the tiers have remained mostly the same for this round. So um, whether or not they can actually capitalize on this opportunity will be mostly on them. So we'll see how this matchup goes. I do think it will be very interesting, but good luck to both participants. I am rooting for Luthier as well to win as a friend of mine. I do hope that he gets this win, as it would be an extremely impressive tournament run, in my opinion. I mean, others may not see it that way if you're kind of looking at it from like an SPL perspective or something. But I do think that um, having the opportunity to win a custom avatar is a pretty big draw to this kind of tournament. So um, I do think that the level of competition, especially in the ones that Luthier had to beat to get to this level, was pretty significant. So this is a really good performance for him, and same with Stareal. Um, same kind of story, maybe a little bit less competition, but he definitely deserves to be here with how clean he's played up until now. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is kind of the end to the TLT4 kind of series. So we'll probably be back in a couple months with this kind of video for BLT. I don't know exactly when it's going to start, but it should start in about probably like 4 months, give or take, with qualification starting probably in the next 2 months, sometime in the next 2 months. With that said, if you guys enjoyed, and be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment telling me what kind of content you would like to see me uh, do next. So yeah, until next time.